If you're starting a DIY landscape design project, I'm here today to share an extremely important design approach that is way too commonly overlooked. Not only does this approach lead to a better quality landscape design in general, it can also make the process easier, especially if you're doing it yourself. I personally often call this use-first landscape design. It's also known as form follows function. It's weird terminology, I know. It's nothing new in the world of design. The idea is to start your landscape design by first considering, what do you want to do in your yard? What are your goals? And how do you design to best serve or meet your needs and goals? And it sounds so obvious, but I cannot stress enough how common it is that this is overlooked in landscape design. In my experience as a designer, I can say this confidently. I'll be working with a new client. I'll be hearing their ideas, their favorite plants, looking at pictures that they've collected as inspiration. The conversation and ideas will be flowing, and then I'll ask my client, can you tell me a little bit more about what you plan to do in your outdoor space? How do you want to spend time out here? They often have to stop and think about the answer, and I like to watch their reactions to this question because you can see a few things swirling in their heads sometimes before they share. Usually entertaining, growing food, herbs. Great, that sounds great. But what's most interesting is not the answer, but their reaction to the question. No matter how I word it exactly, I can ask the question in slightly different ways. It's really common for folks to have to stop and think about the answer to this one. This is so common. And to have to stop and think about this answer, and that means that this has not been their main focus as they plan their landscape, and it should be. And it should be for you too, and that's why I'm making this video. I think we fall into a sort of default mode when approaching our landscaping projects, right? We've seen a lot of yards, we've spent time in a lot of yards, and a lot of them look really similar. And we learn from this. There are elements that are almost always in yards, of course, and what I'm sharing is, based on what I'm seeing as a landscape designer here in the USA. Of these common elements, usually my clients know what they want. We know what we want. We know what we like. We know what we don't like, how big we want the patio to be, what colors would be nice, but we don't stop to think, why? And we should, and not in a deep, what's the purpose of it all kind of way, although maybe that's not a bad idea either, because there is a lot that's considered normal about landscaping that probably shouldn't be considered normal. In this case, simply we're asking why, because, if you're going to the trouble of redesigning and customizing your yard, it should be designed not based on typical standards, what's typically in yards, what you just intuitively think should be there based on past experiences. It should be designed based on your personal needs and your goals and your plans and what you're going to be doing in the space. Again, it sounds so obvious, but think really carefully about the answer to these questions. What do you plan to do in your outdoor space, and how do you want to spend time in it? The answer to these questions are absolutely limitless. Yet people tend to give a handful of responses. These are all great responses, of course. I love all of these things, but there is a lack of creativity at play here. If everyone is only sharing a handful of ideas, like entertaining via a set of table and chairs, a grill. I love a vegetable garden. I love to grow tomatoes, herbs. And then, if you ask about kids, what about kids? The answer is typically a lawn, play structure. Similarly, pets, lawn. But let's go beyond this. Let's go beyond these common responses, because the more creative and specific you get in the answer to this question, the easier it is to get more creative in your landscape design process. Your design can be tailored to support the activities you choose, your goals, your needs, whatever you plan to do in your space. And this can make the design process a lot easier as well. So let's work through an example. Let's say that you like to watch and photograph birds. You are a bird watcher, and while it is pretty easy to put up a bird feeder and just look out your kitchen window, we are designing your yard. So why not make this a little bit better? Let's enhance this. Let's incorporate this into your design. So start by thinking, what are some simple ways that you can design your yard to enhance the bird watching experience? For example, you could rearrange the plantings in your design in a way that makes birds feel safe and comfortable visiting your yard. You could also plan to let leafy spaces under trees for ground feeding birds. Perhaps plan this in the line of sight so that you can also watch them. You should probably add a comfortable seating area if you want to be outside watching the birds, perhaps shaded or sheltered from the rain. And this could be as simple as, having an umbrella over the top of your chair. You may also want to plan something in front of your seating area. This could be plantings or even a trellis or some sort of visible screen that can act as what's called a hide. And a hide is something that makes it easier for you to, hide behind. You can observe wildlife without being in wildlife's main line of sight. Perhaps your seat should also include a table or a rail or something that you can lean on as you take pictures or look through binoculars. That'll be much more comfortable. But do you see how different this is? Simply starting with the use first and then working backwards and being a little bit more thoughtful and specific, it can be very easy to design a wonderful, unique space that's way more conducive to your needs. A common objection at this point is regarding budget limitations. And of course, even though it would be nice and useful to have a fancy gazebo in your yard, there's so many things that you could do with this. Wouldn't that be a dream? You may not be able to afford that. But you'll also notice that in our example regarding bird watching, we weren't really including anything exceptionally ornate. Maybe a table with an umbrella, we're rearranging plantings thoughtfully. Really, there's no more of a correlation between making a space more useful and spending more money, not any more than there is to making any other changes or improvements to your space in general. You're planning a landscaping project anyway, so why not focus on making it more useful? And I mentioned earlier that this also makes the design process easier. And perhaps before you had a blank canvas and you didn't know where to start. If you start with your passion for bird watching, it gives you a better idea of what you should include or could include in your yard. And this makes it easier. So now you just have to find the best way of placing these elements in your space. You're not starting from scratch anymore, no more blank canvas. Another important aspect of this, if you don't like being outside or your kids don't like being outside, it can often be because you don't have an outdoor space that's conducive to your needs or just being comfortable spending time out there. With the exception to extreme weather, of course. If it's really cold or really hot, there's not going to be much you could do without changing, the climate around you. But besides that, there's a lot that you can do to make it very comfortable to be outside, even if you don't have outdoor hobbies, even if you're not into bird watching or anything like that. Just identify the reason that you aren't outside more and try to make it more comfortable to be out there. I'm here in the Pacific Northwest in the USA, and we get a lot of these mildly cold, damp days where it kind of mists more than it rains. So this means that the reason that we aren't spending more time outside is generally because, if there's nowhere to be outside where you won't get wet, you're not going to be spending time outside most of the year. So this means that having some sort of shelter from the rain, something very simple just to keep that mist off of you, can be the number one most important part of having somewhere to be outside for a good part of the year. Another reason you might not be outside more could be because outdoor furniture tends to be pretty uncomfortable just in general. And this doesn't have to be the case. I notice all of these iron, sets of iron furniture, these concrete benches, but these things are great because they can survive out in the weather. But instead of a concrete bench, plan a bench with fluffy cushions. This is not that difficult to bring cushions in and out from the garage, and this alone can make a really big difference and answer the question, why aren't we spending more time outside? Maybe there's nowhere that you can be outside that's actually comfortable. In addition to planning activities for your space, also think carefully about your goals. Outdoor living spaces are also living spaces. They're alive. This is nature, and we are a part of it, and what we do in our backyards do add up, positive or negative. We also have to remember that this space is an opportunity. Our yards can have purpose and possibility, and our goals and intentions and ethics and values and missions should, also influence our design before we start to worry about colors and bloom time calendars. A yard and the ability to landscape it is such a cool opportunity. So think carefully about your goals for the space, the bigger picture, and how they can influence your design as well. I also want to point out something related and important. Always remember that there is this balancing act between your needs from the space and what the space itself is trying to tell you. And a pretty common landscape design standard just in my culture, in my area, the way a lot of people I know do landscaping is that you start by deciding what you want to do with the space, and then you make the space match what you want. So if you have wet soil, I get asked all the time, how do we make our wet soil not wet? I want to grow roses here. What do I have to put on these roses to make these roses grow, whatever the cost? There's a balance in here, and some people are good at striking it. Some people are not. So my advice is just to always balance your plans for a space with what the space is telling you. Learn from your yard too and play to its strengths. And this is a rant for another video, but it's important because it relates to this as we're setting our intentions for our design, figuring out what we want from the space. Don't forget to also learn from your space and play to its strengths as well. I personally have a lot of fond memories playing in my backyard, when I was growing up, and it has informed a lot about who I am today, what I do for work. I mean, it kind of makes sense. But there were parts of the yard we didn't play in and parts of the yard we loved. For example, the front yard, we were on a busy street. There was no fence, there was no privacy, there wasn't a lot of safety or security there. So in general, we just didn't play in the front yard. In the backyard, there was, in one corner, this mass of trumpet vines and honeysuckle that had just grown into this thicket. And we carved out a little fort. My sister and I carved out a little fort underneath, and we spent a ton of time there. In the summer, on those hot days, it was cool and shady in this fort, and we would hang out there all the time. I share these as two examples of aspects of our yard, aspects of the design, the layout of our yard that influenced our experiences growing up. It influenced how we used the space and interacted with the space. It's worth wondering, would I have spent quite as much time outside playing if we didn't have this fort, in the summer on those hot days? If we didn't have this fort to play under, would we have spent quite as much time outside? This is just an interesting way of viewing the landscape. I would love to hear if anyone has any memories or interesting stories or examples that they would like to share in the comments. Please share. I would love to read them. And also, maybe your examples could give someone else some new ideas or inform their design in some way. I hope that these examples, through landscape design can help and make it more possible for you to get outside, be with your people, with your friends, your family, your pets, and make happy memories in your yard. Do more good things with your yard. This is a really great perspective shift that can make this a little bit easier. And by the way, if you're new here, hello, my name is Eve. I am a landscape designer and I'm a horticulturist. And this is Garden Project Academy, my brand new business where I'm creating online courses to help you with your garden project. I'm new to YouTube and I'm definitely still learning how to get better at it. It's far from perfect, but thank you for being here, for following this journey. And if you want to get more involved, I've got a free mini course. It's called How to Choose the Perfect Plant. It's all about, putting the right plant in the right place, how to do that. And I created it because it's so important. It's foundational to successful gardening, to successful landscaping. So I've made it, it's out there, it's free. It's about an hour-long total, and to sign up, all you need to do is create like a little username and password so you can keep track of your progress as you move through that course. That's linked in the description below this video if you're interested in checking that out, learning more about that. And there's a waitlist for my upcoming online course, Design Your Own Landscape Layout, which teaches you how to create your own map or plan of your yard. And it's great for someone who has like a yard that's pretty much a blank canvas and you're not sure how to prioritize what to put where, how to lay it out in the best way possible for you. So that takes you from no plan to having like a hand-drawn to scale plan. So that, again, there's a wait list to that in the description below this video, and by the time you watch it, maybe it's out, so just check out that link. Please let me know if you have any additional questions or ideas for videos and share them in the comments below. I hope this video has helped you with your next landscaping project, and thank you so much for watching.